Because at the beginning, when you started, it was just a simple, normal online platform. But then slowly it developed into a platform where you could track your learning, where someone would be tracking if you're implementing what you're learning, not only you, but your manager. You are talking about sustaining and changing and moving towards productive behavior. So this is what I feel that differentiates you from other learning platforms, whether it's TA or any other subject, right? You can somehow track and understand, hey, am I using this in the right way? Am I putting the skill to use? Am I gaining anything in here? How am I developing? And you can track all of that. So I was kind of interested. It would be interesting to find out how you do this. How do you change and sustain productive behavior in the
Hmm.
recruitment space? And then we can talk about it general. I think it would apply to any kind of field.
Yeah, like I guess when it comes to the recruitment space, obviously, and you'll speak to this, you have to have content that's relevant to people's success. Never expose them to anything that's not relevant. And that is one piece in terms of the customization. We, from the get-go, only set up people with access to things that make them successful within their role, which is super important. That they're, within e-learning, it's nearly a sin to expose someone to spending time to something that's not relevant to them.
Yeah, it can
So
be a rabbit hole, right? I imagine that's why you do it.
yeah, exactly. And it's just a lot. It's a lot more engaging for someone to know that they are receiving training for their specific role, and then the next form of training is how they progress into the next role within the organization as well. So that's the customizable piece. But and I'm sure you would agree with this. We kind of took it a step back and actually looked at kind of like societal trends that how the modern learner learned, Iulia.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we based everything that we have on the platform is built on a scientific and societal approach to how we learn. And that's where we
So how does that work? Can you talk about it a bit? I'm kind of curious.
absolutely happy to. So as I mentioned, I'm sure you'll agree. Today's kind of employees, we are overwhelmed at times. We are constantly bombarded with information. We are distracted by our phones and sometimes a little bit impatient as well. And when you look at these kind of three things, first of all, like flexibility and where and how we learn is becoming more increasingly important to us. People want to learn from their peers and managers as much as they do from experts, and they're taking more control into their own development and what they want to put time into. And that's why we kind of want to deliver their very own personal and professional development platform to their desks, to their mobiles, to their performance reviews. So some of the facts that we looked into, and we worked with Josh Burson's theory on meeting the modern learner. And you'll find yourself kind of nodding to some of this, in that some of the facts around it is, when we take being overwhelmed, I believe Burson came back and said 2 out of 3 knowledge workers in the industry, actually complain that they don't have enough time to do their job. So we took that into consideration, and as a result of that, we recommend that managers apply and configure our learning platform to a 1% of the working week goal. So that's 30 minutes of learning. 1% is all that employees can focus on their training and development, with the amount of other demands they have day to day. If it's not directly relevant to them, then and there, so people welcome that goal, the learners, right from the start. They constantly strive to hit it because it's not overly ambitious, and it's building that habitual learning behavior again.
It seems attainable, 30 minutes a week.
Right, exactly. And they feel like they're achieving something. It's not overwhelming, and their manager is giving them a kudos in return for logging in and hitting that goal. So the background process is that the managers are receiving notifications that their teams are logging in, they're getting these streaks, and they're rewarding them in turn. So that's something very light in terms of how we can take that fact that we feel overwhelmed with all the information we have to process and kind of make it accessible through 1% commitment every week. And I guess the next one was on the impatient side of things. People don't want to watch videos that are longer than 4 minutes anymore. It's just not something. And we nearly went down the line of 30 seconds when they introduced, remember those Vine videos?
Mm-hmm.
They were 30 seconds long. You know, people's attention span is a little bit shorter than it used to be. So kind of from that, we introduced bite-sized videos. You know, it was easier for them to consume and retain the concept or a theory that we delivered in every video. Once again, people weren't shying away from the overall learning experience again, because this was easy. You know, it was informative, it was easy to consume, and they were ready to move on to the next mission quite fluidly. And I guess the last one is around getting distracted. So on average, I think it is a person will pick up their phone 9 times an hour. And we are very distracted humans. And ultimately, we were like, okay, how do we stop this natural dive for them to go to their phone? So we managed to create an app that would develop. Apologies, I'm gonna stop there. I lost my trail of thought. Apologies, I went to pick up my phone.
Yeah, just talking about picking up the phone, it gets you to pick up the phone.
I had my hand on it. Sorry.
This is just to show how everyone can get distracted. I have to check how many times but I think I'm one of those that would pick up the phone quite a lot of times in 1 hour.
Right, I know, and it's anytime something is just not captivating you, or you're just distracted, you just want to pick it up just for the sake of, you're not even checking the time most of the time. But, you know, looking at how distracted people can get, how short our attention span is, we deliver the training on the mobile phone. Once again, it's 30 minutes of their time a week, bite-sized videos, and that's kind of how we start with the natural battle that any e-learning experience platform will face, is how do you deliver a platform that people will actually want to engage with, you know?
Do you define in any way productive behavior? So when we talk about being productive on the platform, do you define it in any way? Do you have, or is it just a 30-minute goal? Or maybe let me rephrase you. What would be defined as success? Is it getting a badge? Is it finalizing the course? Is it doing the 30 minutes?
So I guess it's about all of those things. It's a combination of them. I think it's important to be the cheerleader as much as it is to be the headmaster when it comes to e-learning. And how we kind of do that is there are different kind of things to measure someone's productivity for every mission they complete. So if they finish job advertising, search basics, working with hiring managers, they'll get a badge and it will be put into their trophy case. And then when they come to a stage where they may finish maybe 5 or 6 missions on candidate experience, they'll get an official certification that they can apply to their certifications on LinkedIn. And then you would have then the combination of their streaks, they're hitting their goals, and then their manager in turn kind of rewarding that. So there are different kind of stages of engagement that would be seen as good engagement. Now we're going forward to kind of release an even more gamified experience with the platform. Johnny Campbell, our CEO, he got some inspiration from his son, who is a gaming fanatic. And from that, you know, he sees how excited his son will get upon achieving points, upon it leveling up, all of these different things that we all know that we want, you know, human to want to achieve and to be the, you know, have them.
It's funny how this works. It's really funny. I always find it funny how this work, and they work for everyone. Just receiving a small badge, a small trophy, knowing that you've done good, something, even if it's small, it does help. So what are you planning to do in gamification?
So gamification comes kind of from different kind of engagement that you have with the platform. So it actually is a kind of good way to segue into this based on your question. From the very get-go, someone gets 50 points for logging in. You know, someone gets 50 points for downloading the mobile application. And then every time someone receives a badge, they'll get 10 points. Or at the start of their learning journey, their manager might configure for them what skills are prioritized. So, for example, you may have a source or resourcer whose remit is going to be primarily technical recruitment. So their manager will prioritize their learning on recruiting tech talent. Mm-hmm. And for completing that mission, they'll get bonus points. So within that, you'll level up then in every stage. So it's, as long as you engage, hit your streak, receive certain badges, send people kudos and receive kudos, you start to level up on the platform. But you start to level up in different areas as well. And this kind of plays to the point around how can you identify who is a good recruiter based on the learning that they're doing? Because, you know, a badge is great. It is showing that someone is going through the training ultimately, but a combination of different missions completed that all kind of feed up into one skill set of a certain thing in terms of like higher cognitive skills, social emotional skills, bringing us back to those buckets. If you can see that one of your recruiters tends to have a keen focus on one of those areas, or maybe interviewing that they've completed all those missions, you can tell that that person is quite proficient in that particular area, or vice versa. Should you in a one-to-one performance management situation see that you have a recruiter who doesn't have any of these missions completed and is like failing to achieve in certain areas, it's kind of a case of pushing them in the right direction to be able to say, this is available, this is where we need to work on. Next week when we talk, it will be great to start seeing that the leveling up in that general area or that skill set.
What works best? I was always, maybe you've seen it in the data. Is it peer nudges, self nudges, or boss nudges that will push someone and engage someone with the platform more?
That's a really good question. We saw, so with one of our customers who had, I believe it was around 170 learners who were in APAC, all based all over APAC. The manager over the space of a month sent 841 kudos to the team.
Wow.
And the engagement increased monumentally within the team within that month. So there we saw a really effective case of top-down buy-in. You know, the leader was on top of how their team was doing. The team, they were decentralized as well. Their manager was based in San Francisco. So they never really met him either. So for decentralized teams, it really works well for managers to give that nudge. If you don't see someone day to day, but you can see that they're acknowledging your learning, it's really effective in that regard. I think management kudos goes down quite well, because you know that your time is not your time is, it's been acknowledged mm-hmm. that you are developing yourself by your manager and that it's not going amiss. Peer-to-peer engagement generally works better on the leaderboards.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a lot of kind of friendly competition, shall we say, where people will check their leaderboards quite regularly to see how they place in comparison to their other colleagues. So that's one of the features that really plays a massive part in engagement when it comes to peer-to-peer kind of encouragement, shall we say. But yeah, we do find, you see, the Chrome extension that we have delivers instant notifications to everyone as well. So if anyone on your team completes a certain mission, you have a notification that encourages you to go access the learning as well, but you can also then engage with them by sending them the quick thumbs up too.